Now, these two people, I've been saying this a long, long time, George Orwell and Aldous Huxley. If people ask me two books to tell us, in the past what was coming, 1984 and Brave New World. That talks about the police state and all that, and that talks about the mind control and the uses of drugs and genetics and all that stuff. Now, it turns out that George Orwell, real name Eric Blair, knew Aldous Huxley. Aldous Huxley was his French teacher when Orwell was at Eton College, where the Royals go. And they knew each other, and they had access to the same information sources, including the Fabian Society. Orwell appears to be against it. Huxley was from a family that was very much for it, like his eugenicist brother, Julian Huxley, who created UNESCO, and was involved in the Worldwide Fund for Nature, as it's called now. And so they had access to the projection. I've been saying for years, 1984 and Brave New World were not coming from imagination, they were coming from knowledge of the agenda. That's why they proved to be so accurate, because they knew each other and had access to the same information source. So, 1984 and Brave New World, it wasn't a story, it was knowledge of the future, and that future is now unfolding by the day. Because, like I say, there is a projection, there is a program designed to play out, and we're just decoding bits of the program as we move through what we call time. But if you know what the program is, you can be here and predict this or whatever. And this is an example of it. Dr. Richard Day was an insider, a Rockefeller insider, who was involved, he was an executive of an organization in America called Planned Parenthood, which is a eugenics organization, that will get mentioned later. And he was a Rockefeller insider, so he knew the projected agenda. And in 1969, he addressed a group of pediatricians in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and inexplicably, no one knows why, he asked people to stop taking notes and not use recording equipment, because he was going to tell them how the world was going to change. And he told them. And there was one doctor there who did take notes and then went back and wrote them down. And just before he died in 2004, he gave a series of interviews in which he described what Dr. Richard Day had said in 1969. See if you recognize this world. He said technology would be used for reproduction without sex, families to diminish in importance. The attack on the family is everywhere, from every direction, you'll see that. Euthanasia and the demise bill. Limiting access to affordable medical health care makes eliminating the elderly easier. New difficult to diagnose and untreatable diseases. Suppressing cancer cures as a means of population control. They had the cure for cancer way back, the time he said this. They just don't want us to have it. Why do you think these bloody elite live so long? Education as a tool for accelerating the onset of puberty and evolution. Restructuring education as a tool of indoctrination. More time in schools, but pupils wouldn't learn anything. Controlling who had access to information. Schools as the hub of the community. You see now more and more power is being given to schools over parents, all systematic. Changing laws to promote moral and social chaos. The encouragement of drug abuse to create a jungle atmosphere in cities and towns. Promote alcohol abuse. Restrictions on travel, the need for more jails, no more psychological or physical security. Crime used to manage society, curtailment of US industrial preeminence, my God, is that happened? Shifting populations and economies, tearing out social roots. Sport as a tool of social engineering and change. Sex and violence inculcated through entertainment. Implanted ID cards, microchips. Food control, weather control, we'll come to that later. Knowledge about how people respond, making them do what you want. Falsified scientific research, global warming. Use of terrorism, this is 1969. Surveillance, implants, and televisions that watch you, smart TVs. The arrival of the totalitarian global system. And 1969. And that was what? Not that long after 1948, when Orwell brought his book out. And by the way, many speculate, I think with justification, he called it 1984 as a code because that was the 100th anniversary of the Fabian Society. And he opposed it. To his dying day, he was working to oppose it. So it's a perception deception. And you see, This archontic force has no creative imagination. It cannot create the prison it wants to create for us. So it gets us to create it for ourselves by manipulating our perception, and so we do it and accept it.